One of the reasons why I wanted to come over here today was just to get a better idea of what I need to do to be able to take this old sprayer, well, it was an old sprayer, and then to mount this 3-point boom on it. So I think I had showed it in the videos. Before we put everything away, we did get the boom off. So the previous boom actually just had two pieces that came and fit over this piece of pipe. It really wasn't that much to it. I had switched away from this sprayer because the boom on it was pretty much tired. It wasn't very good anymore. So, but I always did like, well, I can't say I always did. After having experienced the front tank on the John Deere, I would prefer to go back to this back tank. Even though, so this was 500 gallons. I didn't necessarily always fill it, but it was one of those that just because of the weight and everything. But I didn't like it because of the boom being tired. So a few years back, I had bought this Century boom, and this has been perfect for me. It's been exactly what I wanted. I liked having, well, so the other boom wasn't even hydraulic fold, and yeah, it wasn't hydraulic fold, which made it very difficult. This one was a 3-point mount, so I would have the front tank on the John Deere, and then I'd run everything to the back. What I'd like to do, and I think when I measured it, even if I can't measure it right now, is essentially I can remove these for the 3-point, and then I would like it more stable, so I don't think I'm going to do that. Besides, actually, I could lower, never mind, now that I'm thinking about it, I can actually lower these down into the next hole, and so that would put them closer together. If I take these off, then if I wanted to, I could just use C bolts to go exactly to these. Now, I mean, before it was set up, that basically the boom, this is all it rested on. It seems like it should be beefier than that, but essentially if I lowered it down, because right now it would not, you wouldn't be able to do the C bolts and get both. You'd only be able to do one on the cross channels. So if I lower that down, technically I could do C bolt right here, C bolt right there, and then it would be on. And then I would still have the ability to use the, I always just call it the forklift style mast. I would be able to do that yet. Okay. I'm glad I'm thinking through this while you guys are unfortunately having to watch this. I am curious thoughts on this. I love this boom, and I like having the tank in the back. I don't really like having the tank out front. I never used it for planting. I do all of my pre-emerge spraying myself, and I use the sprayer for side dressing corn, just doing the drop nozzles. So I'm still planning to do that. That's a money saver in my book, especially with already having the stuff. I would just prefer to go back to that back tank. So originally I thought it was going to take more fabrication, but I think with doing how I said I can do it, I think it will still be fine. I can still drop this 3-point boom from that tank if ever I want to. But yeah, I'll go around and show. So I mean, if anybody's watched these before, you've seen all spring. I have let me switch it around. I have this front tank on the John Deere, and it's been a great setup. So the individual I bought it from actually custom made it, and it's strong. So on the front of an 8R, it bolts. Well, good point. It bolts right to the bolts on the weight mount, and then this fits on the lip of the weights, and it's still low profile enough that you can see with the lights. So it's dirty, it needs to be washed up. The thing that I had trouble with, and I think people, it just depends on the ground, is I have uneven ground, and you really had to, I mean, part of it is just with using you know, having chemicals and fertilizer off the front of the tractor, you're just a little bit more apprehensive of what you're doing. But I would really try to be careful with where I went. And there were times when, you know, if there was a waterway, I kind of had to go angled or do things that you don't have to do with a normal tractor, but with having the tank off the front, I didn't want that jamming into the ground. So, and it's just a lot more to hook up, you know, running the electrical and the hydraulics and the line to the front of the tractor, when really I don't need to. So if I can go back to this sprayer, everything, I'll remount I mean, they had it mounted really nice. So the hydraulic pump was out here, easy to access. It was good. It was just the boom was terrible. Maybe I'll be able to show a picture, but yeah, the boom was just in rough shape. So I think if I go back to that, I will be much happier. I know most of the channels I follow and everything, you know, self-propelled sprayers, pull type sprayers. I personally like, for my size operation, doing the 3-point and doing the drop nozzles, drop hoses for side dressing, do 24 rows at a time, and it's compact, and you don't trump as much. So I still, this is the plan for, I know I have a fair amount that I need to do yet. I need to figure out how to do the planter and everything, but before, this has to be done before planting, just because of the fact that right when I'm done planting, I go behind with the pre-emerge and spray that. And then as I'm talking through it, I know I've also thrown out the idea, and it'd be interesting if you guys want to comment. I've thrown out the idea of switching back to renting with the 16 row planter now. I could switch back to side dressing with a Coulter unit. I know I've always stressed out quite a bit with doing the drop hoses, because it feels like I never get timely rains right after I do it, and you know, you need to get that rained in. So I've thought about the idea of going back to the Coulter unit. I could probably rent that from the agronomy place that I'm getting the fertilizer from. I think they have a 16 row unit, and yeah, the only thing is, technically, I mean, I'd have to do 16 rows at a time, but I'm planning to variable rate population with the planter this year, because I have the opportunity to. Most likely the unit that you would rent isn't even going to be a hydraulic drive, it's going to be mechanical, so just driving off the ground. So I don't know, it's something I want to look into. I like drop hosing. I like doing 24 rows at a time. It'd be nice to be able to variable rate if I need to, but I also hate the idea of potentially the nitrogen volatilizing before it rains and not being as helpful as it needs to. So either way, this 3-point sprayer is going to be used for pre-emerge because I like it. So yeah, getting that hooked to the back of that, and yeah, and getting this sold, by the way. John Deere 7200 Max Emerge 2. It does have the liquid. It's a vacuum planner. It does have the row clutches on every row, so you can see the egg leader modules. It runs off a John Blue pump for the liquid, and then it runs off the drive wheels for, also runs off drive wheels for that. This was the setup that I had to be able to variable rate the liquid. I'm just going to, when I saw it, I'm just gonna set it back to what it was. Just the fact that it runs off the John Blue pump there. So yeah, that will be that. And then I'm looking to sell this, because if I go back to that on the back, no need for the front tank, and it'll be easier because when it's by myself, it's a pain in the butt to hook it up. So that's the plans. But right now it's still only January 17th, so still have a long ways to go. Like I said, my plan for this next summer is to get this barn cleaned out and ready, or I mean, just nicer to, I don't like, wow. I just don't like having as much junk and dirtiness, everything in it. This is a great view for you guys, sorry. As I do right now, so. It's one of those that it does pack up nice, pack in nice when you're doing everything, so. I have an old 3-bottom plow right here that just needs to go. I have old, my goodness, clean grain elevator chain and everything, so it just needs to go. But yeah, the project is that to that, and then be good to go. Okay, I never say it. It's interesting always looking at the statistics. I think I'm at about a 97% unsubscribing rate to about a 3% subscribing rate. So if you do happen to watch this and haven't subscribed, feel free to ask any questions that you have, and I'm happy to answer. So happy January 17th.